Hello and welcome to this webcast about digital retail. Digital retail, the next great opportunity. COVID-19 speeded up some processes that had long been forecasted within food e-commerce. The surge in online grocery sales was large, and there is no way we will ever be going back to the old normal. To take a closer look at e-commerce or online grocery shopping, if you like, in the US, I have invited Laura Kobias from the PR agency that the Norwegian Seafood Council works with in the US, Padilla. Now, Laura is the founder of the agency Food Minds, and she's executive vice president of Padilla. She is also a registered dietitian. So we're very much looking forward to hearing from you today, Laura. Welcome. The screen is yours.
Okay, thanks. We've got a lot of really interesting and exciting information to go through, and I'm going to move pretty quick. But you are welcome to contact the Norwegian Seafood Council after this presentation if you need more information. Okay, so as we think about what's happening at digital in food, it's really important to think about how consumers make decisions around food. It's not as simple as I have an idea, I'm going to go to the store and buy something. There are lots of things happening from inspiration to putting a list together, however you do that, to the way you shop, to actually putting the food together and then eating it. So as we talk about this, it's important to keep this context in mind. So I'm not going to go through this, but you can refer back to it. There are a lot of helpful terms that have been really created as this category has come together. So as Anna just mentioned, it's a totally different situation than it was just a few years ago. COVID-19 has changed so much in the food system, and it's not going back to how it was before, especially as it relates to how consumers are making their food decisions, what they're putting into their carts. So the size and the scale of what's happening at digital is hard to imagine. You know, in 2017, just 23% of American households were buying food online, where in 2022, this year, it was predicted that that spending would be up to 100 billion a year in online grocery alone. And to put that into context, that is about every household in America spending $75 online per month, every month, all year for food and beverage. And that is totally different than in the past and really unimaginable in the past. The impact of the pandemic has been really significant in online grocery sales. So back in 2019, they exploded 22%, and then those numbers surged up 40% by the middle of 2020, and we're looking at continued growth. When you think about who is shopping online, it may not be so surprising that millennials and Gen Xers spend more time shopping online than their older counterparts. But a surprise, or maybe not a surprise, coming out of the pandemic is that boomers have really adapted online shopping. And in looking at are they likely to go back in store as the pandemic, as things go back to more normal, um, the boomers are less likely to go back in store. And that has been, I would say, a bit of a surprise coming out of the past couple of years. So going to go through a few different things. Part one of this is the digital channels. So it's a great disruptor, but it has the power to really be a connector, and it's a big opportunity for organizations and companies that want to connect with their consumers through these channels. So looking at the Amazon lens, there are really three areas that food is being sold. There's the online marketplace at Amazon. There's Amazon Fresh, which is also an online marketplace. And the introduction of places like Amazon Go, where you can just walk into a store using your Amazon account and walk out with the food without needing to exchange money. Well, you do exchange money, but without needing to interact. And then Amazon Whole Foods, e-commerce platform for brick and mortar. So 3 different ways through Amazon to purchase food, and so we're watching those closely. But brick and mortar does remain the sales and the profit lead when it comes to food purchasing. And we're seeing now consumers go back into stores, but digital sales are not going down. One thing that has been really challenging is losing money when it comes to investing in this space. So Walmart lost $1 billion of its 21 billion e-commerce revenue as a result of challenges integrating with their Chet.com acquisition. And so it's clear that the investment in this space takes time and money to be profitable, but it is where consumers are going. And so it's really important. And it is here to stay. So again, the landscape of online sales grew with nearly 14% of total US sales estimated to come from e-commerce channels in 2021. But what's really important to think about when you think about connecting to consumers through online sales is they can only buy what they can see or find through the online channels. So unlike walking into a grocery store where you can look around and maybe be surprised by some things you want to, new things you want to put into your cart, um, it's different when you're shopping online. And so that digital shelf is really important for organizations and companies to think about how are they going to show up through online retail, online digital channels. Here's an example of a blueberry product on Kroger. So we do some work with blueberries, and it's really important that blueberries look beautiful, look amazing. And so this is one that has um, some areas to improve in terms of how it looks. And so this is something that the blueberry industry is looking at, and other food products as well. You need to make sure that your products look great. And there are also opportunities developing where you can provide a lot more content, like nutrition information, links to recipes, great opportunities, again, to connect with your consumer about what makes your product unique and different. And of course, with online digital, another key point of differentiation is there's data. So when you're at brick and mortar, it is difficult to get that data, to get the feedback on what you are doing in store. It's less difficult with digital channels. Through the partners that you're working with, you may have opportunities to get some really helpful data to inform your strategies as you continue to invest in the space. Consumers also, with their move and increased comfort in online retail and digital purchasing, their expectations are really changing. And this is important to keep in mind and to be part of your strategic consideration. So 61% of consumers would actually be willing to share more information with brands if it would allow them to have a better shopping experience. 54 actually expect a personalized discount within 24 hours of first contact with the brand. And some, 51, more than half, see it as vital to receive a personalized experience through the brand's digital channels. So that speaks to sort of the omni-channel experience that brands and companies need to think about. So anytime a consumer is exposed to an experience with your brand or your product, it should be consistent. It should feel seamless. So that so overall, it's a great experience that they have. So the second part of this is there are a lot of different opportunities and experiences. It is an always-on touch point. So while you're at the store, maybe 30 minutes to purchase your groceries, digital is always there, any time of day, anytime during the night. And so, and there's always new innovations, new surprises. And so, again, important to really think about where you want to be moving forward. Here's an example of, one potential way to engage with consumers. Is it hovering a QR code to create an experience, a way to connect with consumers? These are in-store coolers that have been tested in the Chicago area, where you walk by these coolers and the product may shake a little bit to get your attention. And pop out with an idea. It's a very different and unique experience and opportunity, a new way to educate consumers. Um, this is a new thing that's happening here as well. Personalized digital grocery experiences where a retailer may actually have a person come to your home and put the products away for you. So you order, they deliver, and they actually restock your fridge. Other emerging digital grocers. So, companies that are doing direct consumer fulfillment. So, they've got their own warehouses and they can complete your orders online. So, not necessarily going through the brick and mortar store that you go to, but you can get products directly through an online vendor. Online farmers markets. So in Europe, virtual farmers markets are changing, how supply chain and how distribution to consumers works. Meal planning apps, these have really become very popular in the United States, where consumers are able to plan meals for a week or a few days a week. And in doing so, it will put together a list of ingredients. You can connect that directly to your shopping list and even to a specific retailer who may deliver it to you, or you may use that to go to the store. Meal kit producers as well. So this is where these companies put the whole kit of your dinner together. It's shipped to you, and all you need to do is put the ingredients together. Direct to consumer online. So again, we talked a little bit about this, but ways to get different products directly to consumers, building relationships actually with farmers. So you may know where your lettuce is actually coming from. B2B online e-commerce channels. So this is a food service example where, again, a chef or a restaurateur may be able to order directly from this other platform instead of going through a larger distributor. Shoppable recipes, a little similar to meal kits, but this is literally you find a recipe, you can say, I want to add this to my list. And then again, you can connect directly to a retailer and put it on your list that they may deliver to you, or you can go directly to the store with this list. But Instacart is one of the biggest online retailers. Their sales have during the heavy COVID months, their sales really just went through the roof, and they continue to do extremely well with consumers who have really moved to online shopping. In-store activation apps as well. While you might be shopping, you might get some promotions sent directly to you and your phone, and you can submit a receipt and then get a discount or get some dollars back from making that purchase. Other types of activations, again, you've got Instacart here. Whisk is the group that does the online recipes. Ibotta, where you might get a promotional video, and you can watch that video and you get a discount from watching that video. So there are many ways that you can engage in store or right around the store. Something to think about with online shopping is that there is a lot of packaging. And this is, of course, a big part of the conversation and what organizations who are doing a lot of online shipping and distribution, that they are thinking about what are the most sustainable solutions here, because consumers care about this as well. So part three, consumers have changed their behavior. So it takes about 30 days to lock in new behaviors, and we're well beyond that. And so we expect that consumers are not moving away from online shopping, from digital engagement with food. We only expect it's going to become more sophisticated, with more opportunities to really build relationships directly with consumers and connect brands and products directly to consumers and other stakeholder type organizations. Great opportunities to really build those relationships. And it's, just to build on that, it's happening. If you are not there or building your strategy, you're behind. And so it's really important that you think about this, that you learn as much as you can and figure out what your approach is going to be for your business. Okay, Anna, that pretty much sums it up. There is new information every day. Some of the statistics that I showed you, there are new numbers. And we'll continue to keep this information updated and refreshed really on a regular basis, because of the work we do, and just to ensure that you know us and the groups that we're working with are completely engaged and at the forefront.
Well, thank you, Laura. This is so interesting material. All the material you presented is really interesting. And I was just thinking as you were going through that it was born out of fear in a way, this incredible increase because of COVID. People didn't dare to go to the shops, a lot of them,
Yes.
and particularly the boomers that you are referring to. But then, to continue this development, I think we're over to another very fundamental feeling, namely trust. Because I think trust is really very much at the core of this. You have to trust that the product you are getting, for example, if you're buying something very delicate like seafood, you have to be able to trust that you get the real stuff.
Yes, exactly. And I think it has been part of Instacart's success. I think that specifically there has been a lot of hesitation with regard, especially to fresh foods. So produce, things like seafood, that, pre-COVID, hesitation around whether, is the shopper going to make the same choice that I would, or the best choice for me? And people had a positive experience. They saw that that was possible. And so they've gotten comfortable with it, and that trust has been established for a lot of retailers and programs like Instacart.
Well, that's really wonderful. And thank you so much again for your presentation and for keeping us updated regularly on this. And to everybody listening and looking, if you want more information on this, if you want the presentation sent to you, I will help you. So just contact the Norwegian Seafood Council here in the US. Well, thank you very much, Laura.
Yeah, thank you. It was great.
Well, Lars, one of the takeouts from the trend report is that online is more than online. What does that really mean?
Well, Robert, traditionally, we would think about online versus offline, a simple cut between the two. But what we have come to learn is that the actual online or the e-commerce category is expanding into several subcategories, if you will, wholly different. You have quick commerce, even ultra quick commerce, which gives you a delivery time down to even 10 minutes from when you place the order until you get your stuff at your door. You have voice commerce, by using Alexa and other types of voice assistants. You have mobile commerce, the use of mobile platforms, for instance, and even the use of influencers through other social media apps like Snapchats even and TikTok. Well, I would think so, because when you look at the traditional sales channels, they haven't really changed much for decades. And now, even with the expansion of what happens in the online world, I cannot foresee that to be getting any smaller. But that doesn't mean that the more traditional brick and mortar shops are going to disappear overnight. We also see that these two formats, if we broadly categorize them as online and offline, are merging together in various omni-channel variants. Well, it depends on what kind of application basically you're using for your online purchases. It's not now whether you shop online or not and what kind of various online sub-channel that you're using. It's what kind of apparatus are you using. Like the older generations, they're more on the computer, using your web browser and doing your shopping there, whilst the younger generations, Zs and millennials, for instance, younger millennials, they're using their mobile phones. Yeah. So everybody has or many people have now experience with online shopping. Well, the online channel itself is expanding, but so people are shopping more in different places, and we still need to get the stuff home in one way or another. It's not just through the post anymore. So you have this great expansion of third-party delivery platforms. We know them from food service. For instance, Foodora, you have Uber Eats and other such things that are not necessarily carrying any products of their own, but they're delivering on behalf of clients, then restaurants, and now also what we've seen expand during the pandemic, and because of the pandemic, also grocery. Trust is important when you want to buy something, and especially when it comes to fresh food. We would like to, check out the package and have some form of way of controlling that what we're buying is actually the quality that we want. So when you're buying fresh food online, that part is removed from you. So you need some form of verification that the food you're buying is fresh. Now, one way of doing it, and one way that they are doing it in South Korea, where they have progressed quite far with online purchases of fresh food, is that they leave reviews in the same way you would leave reviews on TripAdvisor. So you would know then when you go in and you want to buy, for instance, salmon from this and that retailer, that people have left reviews that the quality has been great, the delivery was prompt, it was still chilled, refreshed, and so on. Another part is that when you get it down to the ultra-quick delivery times, 10 minutes, inherently you would know that if you get something within the time space of 10 minutes, it's been put on the back of a bicycle or an e-bike or whatever in a chilled container, it would still be and remain fresh when you get it home. We have actually done a small test of one of these services in Paris, France. And from the order was placed until the fresh salmon was delivered at the door, took 10 minutes. So
and it was fresh?
It was fresh, yeah. They even got a little chocolate as a gift.
So?
So bonuses all along.
Yeah.
Mm. Another thing that I remember about the ultra-quick delivery systems or platforms, is that could be actually a benefit for local small businesses as well. And that could also help in alleviate this, the trust issues that some people might have by ordering fresh food. For instance, we have in our office building a fresh fish monger in the first floor, a ground floor. Now, most of us that have bought our fish there have trust in the quality of the products that we get there. Now, if you are at home and you want to have fish for dinner and there's a delivery of products from that shop, you wouldn't have an issue with the trust anymore because you know where it comes from. So in that sense, I also think that some of the more rapid delivery services could be a part of actually strengthening local businesses as well.
Thank you, Lars. This is really interesting. But where can I find the Trend Report and more about this digital development?
Well, Robert, you'll be happy to know that this report is openly accessible to everyone on our web pages at seafood.no. And this has been just a brief little run-through of some of the interesting findings from that report. So I advise everyone to go in there and have a look and write me an email if you have some further questions.